Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. The listings on the agenda of those matters reasonably anticipated by the chair. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. With that, I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Motion open the meeting.
I have a motion, or a second.
Second.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Mr. Hessian is a yes. I'm gonna switch the agenda around a little bit to get into the opera discussion with our town accountant, Scott Curtis. We had some questions, or Sherry had some questions on, what were our questions?
Yes, so that's what I'm going to look at.
Oh,
So, at our previous meeting, we were just looking forward and looking at the expenses coming up.
Yep.
And we wanted to make sure that we're going to put those in the right accounts.
Okay.
The 100, we have, this is just my budget sheet that I keep track to project expenses, but it's got the account number on it, so that might be helpful for you, Scott. We have a year 2 annual I&I control plan, and that was just put under our I&I budget, so that's just a line item, so that should, no question there. We have estimating 300,000 to fix whatever that year 2 finds. And we are going to put that as part of our ARPA funds, which and we're gonna have to pull in, so we have 96,000 ARPA funds. $19,000 available from an article, 150 from our budget, and then we have the fees that have been paid, which is 351.
Okay, I wanna hold off right there.
So
Where we are now, the 150 is for the year 2.
yes. And that still leaves us with 150
Okay,
in the line item.
and we still have 150. On
After
top of that 150, we also have 350.
Yes, from fees that projects have paid.
Okay, that's, now I am caught up, now I know where I am.
Okay.
Okay.
So, the biggest question that we had is the police detail work for year 2 when we start fixing.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, we had 50,000 left over from the year 1.
Okay.
Can we roll that over to the year 2 to cover the police details for that?
What was it? Where
So,
were we paying it out of? Regular budget?
so
item,
we
or-
paid for this summer's project. We charged the police detail out of the article work.
Okay.
But we had actually executed a contract that was significantly higher than what we actually expended.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the contract was going to be charged against the ARPA funds.
And it's basically the same work except for year 2.
Yep.
Right.
So what we were hoping to do is we'd be able to use that 50,000 to cover the police detail for year 2.
If it's an article, we can roll it over. And if it's part of your opera funds, that just rolls until you spend it. You know what I mean? Like, so these amounts here, it doesn't matter when you spend them.
Yep.
Like, those will continually roll over until you zero them out.
Mhm.
Town meeting articles, we can carry over for 3 years. So if it's part of an article, we can carry that over for 3 years. Your regular budget, we have to close it up.
Can we charge the police detail against the ARPA funds without a specific contract?
I think so, because I think if it's part of your projects that's going on here, like the
Yes.
INAG or.
Yeah, it's definitely for the I-9.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
because there's still, there's still 85 grand in their remediation and there's other money out there, so.
okay. All right, so the police detail for the year 2 control plan for the actual rehab repairs will be charged against the ARPA account. And then any police detail for Weston and Sampson, as they're looking for these repairs, will charge against the article.
Okay, so that contract is gonna start next week to investigate the direct sources of the INI. That
Okay.
was one for $150,000.
Yes,
That is coming out of our budget.
yes.
Okay, now, the police details for that,
Will come out of the article money.
I'm lost. Where does that 50,000 come in?
We're gonna be using that for.
The physical
rehab,
work?
The physical work.
Okay, okay. The physical work will commence next March. Now, it is my understanding that ARPA had to be spent by this November.
Mhm.
So we won't have spent that $50,000 by November.
We can
No,
book
not
it.
this November.
Yeah, I think it's
Next.
further than that, because you still have
Okay.
it.
24.
Because the same thing with like your generator,
I
you're
understand.
not gonna get that, so
Okay,
yeah. There's definitely more time than just this November, absolutely.
okay, thank
Yes,
you.
2024.
I don't know why I thought it was this year. You know why?
No.
Fiscal year 24, that's where I'm getting balled up.
Yep,
Okay.
okay. So, for our year 2 I&I plan, Weston and Sampson's gonna go out and do the engineering work to find it. That comes out of our line budget.
Wait a minute. Line budget. 150K,
Yes.
okay.
Work, police detail associated with the engineering comes out of the article money.
And that job will be bid. But we will not, in the scope of work, say quote, police detail, because we have that.
So we have 2 police details. One for the engineering,
Right, which we have to cover.
which we cover out of our article. Yes, and then the other is for the actual construction work,
Okay,
and that will come out of ARPA.
okay, I know where I am now.
Okay.
No, I don't believe it, but I do.
I don't believe it.
No, neither do I.
Okay,
And that's all we had?
I think that's all we had. And then year 3, we'll do it all over again,
Right.
but we'll have to look at things again.
Scott, I'm sorry if we wasted your
I'm
time.
sorry, yeah.
No.
When we were talking about it last week, it was way
No,
bigger
it
than we
gets
thought.
confusing, but no, that,
But,
I would rather because we're talking a lot of money right now, and we've got so many different projects going, I'd like to kind of
yeah, I hear you.
double check myself.
Nope, not a waste of time at all.
Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it so much. And we just finished a quarter, do you need the expenses for ARPA?
Well, I got them, like what you have right here, I pulled that out of Munis this morning, so we've already,
Oh, okay,
that's up to date as of today of what's been spent and what's available.
okay.
Yeah, we got, you know.
Previously, I was copying the actual invoices. I don't know
Okay.
If you needed those,
No. Yeah, don't waste your time doing that.
okay.
Do you need anything from us?
No, well, we're still waiting on, we're trying to find that contract for the other.
All taken care of. Let me,
Yeah,
so,
okay.
We had
here's what
talks.
happened.
I found a huge folder that said sewers, but it doesn't, I don't think what we looked for.
do you want to take a look at it while you're here?
Yeah.
He'd be the one to show.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep, we found.
I
the
found some old stuff, I
documentations.
found some new stuff. I found some spots in my office I didn't know existed until this morning, so. Yeah, it's interesting that they're pushing back on some of this stuff, but we're working through it to make sure it's clear.
And Scott, I'm just gonna send you an email detailing what we just.
Yep.
Where we parsed everything to go.
Yep, perfect.
And
This, your opinion on this would help a lot, because there's been a lot of confusion on this. Because I believe we submitted all this, and now it seems like they're asking for it again.
Do you remember where that page was, Sherry?
It's on the tabs.
This is a reading from the Book of Sewer.
But if you go, there they are, Sue's proposal, RFP.
Oh, wait, let me see it again.
This is from, yeah, this is,
I can give you an update of how that whole thing went down if you want.
no, this is probably what we need. Is there like a PDF version of this? Or
No,
is it
No.
fine? Okay.
and that's the only copy we have.
So it's
And to be honest, I'm very leery of letting that out
not
of
leaving
here.
the building.
Yeah, we're just gonna need some copies then to,
How do we get copies of something like that?
Robin will have
it's all,
copies
it's
and
just a
scan.
three ring
Scan it?
photocopy, or just scan it directly to,
PDF is good.
yeah, just scan it directly to PDF and then email it, or we'll do that. So it doesn't have to leave the building. Yeah, it's just a three ring binder, so you can just scan this pretty easily, to yourself, and then we'll have to see, you might have to like zip it to email it, because it might be too big for the,
I would let
I'm gonna
Robin.
get some stickies and.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can
just-
What
stick it what
happened
you
with
want.
that, so you know,
this is
we,
probably like the RFP.
right, we went out with the RFP. I think I prepared the RFP. No, did I? I'm not sure if on that one. No, I did not on that one. The RFP went out. We had a bid meeting with 3 people, showed up, 3 vendors. We did the walk through the whole 9 yards. When it came time to bid, only Suez bid.
Almost like that. Okay. Yep.
Now, I believe Doug has the actual contract we signed with Suez. Do you
Yes.
need that?
No, I think we have that. So what Plymouth County is kind of giving us a hard time about is the procurement on everything. Like the contracts, they're fine, but they want to know how we got to the contract.
Right, see, Scott, and we're not trying to be a pain in the ass to you, at least I'm not.
Oh, we're-
But this is why I wanted you down here today. We
Right.
want to make sure that,
Yeah, so right now, on all of our stuff that we have pending, they've come back with just procurement questions. Purely, how did you get this, like, you have bids, you have, how did you rate the bids, all this stuff. That's what they're looking for. on
right,
this.
this is, okay.
So that's kind of, and that's gonna be the same for anything we submit now, because there's 3 levels of approval with Plymouth County, and the lady who got back to us said, all 3 levels of the approval are gonna look at your procurement.
Okay,
So that's kind of what they're looking for now. And
So-
the contracts are fine, we've submitted everything. They haven't gotten back to us on the generator yet, but I believe that'll be fine, because that's off like the public list, the bid list.
Right.
I think that one should be clear. In our mind, we've given them enough for that one that it's good. It's just these ones here, they're kind of pushing back, asking what we did for procurement, what we got for bids.
okay, then what I would like you to do then is, I'm gonna be bugging you.
Yeah.
We're going out for rebid on the digester piping.
Okay.
We have a contract with Weston Sampson to handle the rebid.
Yep.
They'll be doing all that bid stuff and anything else, so
Yep.
if there's anything we've got to watch now to make sure they follow,
Just make sure that they have, the big thing they're looking for is like, how many bids you get and how you rated them. Like, there's
Okay.
different things you gotta rate, so I'm sure they'll go through that. I'm sure they're familiar with it.
yeah, they did that with the Green Mountain.
Because interesting, I found a drawer of like old sewer contracts, and there was a bunch of stuff in there that someone had a cover sheet that said, bid A was A for timely, B for, like that sort of stuff.
Listen, that's what we're digging through now.
Yep.
Because there's a ton of that from the
And that's
past.
what they're looking for.
Okay,
And that's gonna be their biggest thing. For any more that we ask for, they're gonna look for procurement.
okay, no, I think we got it down now, what
Yep.
we need to do.
All right?
Yep.
But other than that, yeah.
If you can
like
just sticky the page,
the
decide
generator
what
should
you
be
want.
fine. At least, we think the first one
We're
should
on
be
top
fine.
of the generator, yeah.
But we're
it's
trying
starting
to, some of those
fresh.
things that, I feel the more paper we give them, the better. the
Bury
less
them
they
in
come back
bullshit.
with. Yep.
Well, that's good, that's one more thing off the punch list.
Probably this proposal. And then just anything, this is. Yeah, this should. Just keep this book handy in case we need it again.
Oh, Robin has it. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, I can always touch base with her if we think there's gonna be more that we need.
And Sherry, you'll take care of what needs to be Xerox, the copy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So these three,
Robin's gonna do it for us.
we'll start with these three tabs.
Okay,
This agreement, the RFP and the Suez proposal.
okay.
And then we'll go from there and see what else they come back. It's just gonna be a back and forth with them.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Scott.
You got it? If you
Can
need
I ask you a
anything
question? How come you rate two phones?
else- This is my personal phone. and
Oh,
this
no,
is my
that's
town
okay,
phone.
that's okay.
One for
I'm not
work
gonna-
and one.
I'm not gonna use my personal phone.
I
for the
did
town
that for
because
so many years.
I worked in a previous community where someone used their personal device for the community and they asked for it, so they lost their iPad for
Oh,
a
yeah.
year. So, that's why too.
Again, Scott, I'm really sorry to bug you.
Nope, it's not, I'd rather us all figure it out instead of
Oh,
going
you and
back
Doug
and
have
forth.
been, you and Doug have been great helps, and
So,
I hope you appreciate, I hope you know
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Always available.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay, with that,
Is,
we do not have any minutes to approve.
no,
I structure and account balance, why don't we talk about that for a while? Have you given any more thought to it? I think
the
we're,
I remediation account?
yep.
There you go.
That was a big help there, because
Does that help?
that helps me a lot, because now I have an idea where I am.
Yeah.
So we still have on 350 for repairs, which,
Yeah, I was struck for a minute. I was like, 300,000, but that is coming, 300 to fix it is going to be coming from the development fees that were paid, or the I fees that were paid.
What's his last name?
Curtis.
Curtis.
Curtis Farms?
Oh, I don't know.
Scott Curtis. So, okay.
So, based on our discussion last week, this is how I see this rolling.
Okay.
I can't get over this cough.
So, no, I'm still shaking it too. So, my numbers agree with you as far as the 28,000.
Yes.
This is exactly the way I think we should do it. I like this.
And then we'll just keep adding to it as
Or deducting.
we go. I did make note of this on number 10, that anything that we add or deduct from this is gonna require a vote by the
Yes,
commission.
I agree. You know what I'm wondering? Should we put these steps 1 through 10 in the moratorium?
Well, we've pretty much covered everything that's in here, because I referenced the moratorium
Okay,
to make this.
okay.
The difference is our moratorium and our rules and regs is like the policy, and then the procedure is how are you gonna make that policy work?
Okay.
So this is more like down and dirty, step by step, what we have to do.
Okey-doke.
We need an owner of this,
What do you mean owner?
who's going to maintain it and keep the records. You know,
Do you want to do it, or
I can do it
for now until the
until
super?
we get a superintendent.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
Yes.
things we should talk about. I think I mentioned that in here, but I wanna, any of the stuff we're doing, I see him doing. It's just
Yes.
a matter of time frame of when we dump it off on.
Absolutely. So I'm okay with
Have you talked to the
maintaining that.
man?
Okay, well, we're
So,
gonna talk
hold
later
on
on
one
that.
second, I wanna make a motion that we accept this I remediation account.
I make the motion.
Unless you made it, just a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Mr. Hessian is a yes.
Okay.
How do you want to document this?
What do you mean?
I think we should put this in the minutes.
Okay, yep. And then I'll give a copy to Robin electronically.
Okay. And maybe change this from draft to accepted on.
Yes. Do we need to, I don't think we need to sign it. It's just
No, I don't think we need to sign it, but I just would like to have some
accepted
record of when
on.
we were accepted.
Yep. Okay,
Got that?
that's that.
Other business, I had asked you, and I'm not sure if you had the chance to, forgive me, I've been under whacked for the last 3 or 4 weeks. On a letter, I had a phone call, when we were talking about the extension with the EPA and Mass DEP. And it went very well, I think we're gonna get our extension. One thing they did ask me is if I could give them just an in general update onto what our plans are. What I did is I drafted up this letter that I sent to you guys. And I took it right out of the I&I control plan.
Yep.
I wanted to highlight what we did in FY23 because that was part of the first year of our control plan. FY24, again, I took it right out of the control plan, and what I was probably now need to go in and correct is the amount of monies. And here's where it's gonna differ. You mentioned $351,000 from fees. I came up with $247,000 in fees. And I think what I deducted was the sewer maintenance. If you look at FY, do you have that letter? Yeah, if you look at page 2.
Is that
First paragraph.
FY24?
Yeah, first paragraph.
Yep. Currently, the Rockland Sewer Department has $620,000 available.
No, page 2.
Leaving
Okay, might as well read it at the beginning.
50s pretty clear, that's right. The 298. Move it up to 9. Stacy.
How are you?
Funding will come from our area. Okay. Which paragraph are you now?
Okay, I'm saying, on January 24th, March 24th, the sewer commission has allocated $300, but
Yeah.
the fund will come from the remaining $351.
Yes.
So that's correct. Now, if you go down to the second part, I mentioned 247 with the 50% of roll. So I'm saying these 3 projects have the potential of bringing in $247,000. And what I was looking at was the fees from 320, Manzella, and possibly Holy Family.
Oh, okay.
Okay? No, I just wanted you to know,
I'm, yeah,
I just want you to know where I'm coming up with that money.
247, Manzilla and Holy Family.
Now, I meant to combine with the user fees in FY24, use these fees to continue our I&I efforts in FY25. I wanted to add that sentence down here, and even they brought it up. And they shared my concern with it, and our concern with the 2.25. I said, the sewer commissioners are aware that we'll have to discuss in-depth condition 1 and the 2023 moratorium of a 12-month rolling average of 2.25 million gallons to allow these new projects. What I told them, and I was receiving a little kickback from basically the town, but we know right now our average is well over 2.5. So as it stands now, we can't take anything. We've removed, and we can't really make a judgment on dropping that number until see how we stand after the winter. Winter notoriously is our bad period, and that's gonna climb. No matter how we cut that, I see that 2.5 capacity still being over the 12-month rolling average. So I think we have to have some pretty in-depth discussions, and it may also entail bringing in an engineering firm for checks and balances on that. The reason I'm saying that is that if we continue to violate, we're leaving ourselves wide open for a fine.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna need people that have had numerous experiences with other facilities in this matter. So I wanted you aware of why I placed that in there. FY '25, I put down that we plan on probably gonna need to up our request from the enterprise fund from 300,000 to 400,000 to fund everything we've got planned.
That's just our department budget line.
Right, and I also gave us a note. I said, based on our verification of the I&I removal this spring and what the winter flows are, that's when we'll be able to have make some kind of decision on what we're gonna do on the waiting list at that point.
Mhm.
I also mentioned that at this time, there's two potential projects that have, come to the sewer plan, that being Harmon Golf Course and Park and Howard, that combined would mean we'd have to remove almost 530,000 gallons of I&I, and that's not even feasible. And I'm saying at that time, we may have to divert some funds to go more aggressively at secondary discharge. And I think that's a point, the town, I put in a little sentence saying the town of Rockland, the sewer department, can now rely on development fees alone now. I think Rockland must team with a developer to institute a secondary treatment system or decide on off-site disposal system and location before we take on any more users. I think until we do that point, until we make a decision on that, we cannot accommodate projects such as Harmon and Park and Howard. That is just my decision. That's up again for the vote. But I think these are all things we've got to keep on the back of our mind. So other than that, all that is just a quick blip I want to send to the EPA, say, okay, here's what we're planning on doing. And they even said that's going to change year to year, depending on your funding and depending on flows and everything.
Right,
They just want to know, what do we think today?
right,
And I think this is a pretty much good summary of where we are.
looks pretty accurate.
Okay, if, I'd like to someone make a motion that you guys approve me sending that
I
to
make
the
the
EPA.
motion.
Can I have a
Second.
motion? Okay. Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes,
Mr. Hutchins, yes. Okay, I'll sign that off today. What else did I have on today's agenda? I'd like to see if Robin has anything she wants to update us on. If not, she can wait till next week at our monthly meeting.
okay. Are we moving to an executive session?
We're gonna go to an executive
So
session.
procedurally, the executive session.
We
will-
close this
We'll
session,
close this session.
we shut that
We
off,
shut that off.
and we open an executive session.
Yes. If we come to an agreement in that session, we have to go back to open session to vote and disclose the terms. No?
I do not think we do until we
Okay.
discuss the negotiation. We're still, technically, if we approve today,
Mm-hmm.
what I'll do is I'm gonna meet with him at 8 o'clock Friday morning,
Mm-hmm.
present what we feel is our offer,
Okay,
and if he wants to proceed, then I guess we can
Then
make
we'll-
it public at that point.
okay. Does that sound right?
Yeah, because the negotiations would be an executive session, so.
Yeah, well, we're
Right.
in negotiation here, but
Right.
if he wants to change that, then we bring him into negotiation. What I wanted to do is just say,
Friday,
Well-
well, Friday morning is an executive session, right? You're going into negotiations.
I wasn't gonna have the
To-
commission, but if
We're
we
going to, I believe the plan was to go to executive session
Today.
now, to discuss what we wanna offer and terms.
And then I was gonna meet with him and he said, if this is acceptable, if you wanna change things, we'll come back and discuss it.
Then we'll take it to the candidate.
Okay.
All right, let me see if Robin wants to wait or. Robin, do you have anything you wanna bring up or do you wanna wait for next Thursday? I can do that. It's up to you. Yeah, and we'll get that. And if we can get this posted, this is his sign.
Okay.
With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Robin Day.
Okay, I only have one item. It's a drain layer application. It's for Sealand Corporation. They were previously licensed in 2016 and in prior years, so they didn't supply any references, but all their paperwork is in order, and they paid the fee.
Mr. Sealand's doing 365 Concord Street.
Yes.
For the record on that also, as far as the inspection, I normally would have done that with Pat Brennan. Depending on how Mr. Buckley goes, I think that would be a great project for him to see how an inspection goes. So I make a motion that we approve the drain layer for Kevin Sealand.
Thank you. I just have one pending. They haven't applied for a permit yet, and they haven't paid any of their fees. Can I issue the license to him and then just let him know
Who,
that,
to Kevin?
yeah,
Yeah,
let him
yeah,
know he
yeah.
can't start any
Is
work
this
till they,
365?
365,
You
yes.
sure they haven't paid?
I
I
can,
believe the fees were paid.
I can double check.
Yeah, just double check.
They're on the waiting list as having not paid yet, so I was going by that, but I'll
You know what,
double
I
check.
think he did pay when the attorneys were in that day, or the day after.
He did?
I
Alright.
believe he did, but if you double checked. it,
Yes.
I'll check. And that's all I have. What did you want me to do with this?
Oh, if you could post that on the website.
On the website?
That's our
Okay.
new one.
The signed copy?
Yep,
All right,
I thank you very much.
thank you.
With that, I'll accept a motion to close the open session of today's meeting.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
All in favor, Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Ms. Hutchinson, yes. With that, I'd like to close this meeting and the board will adjourn to executive session.